I made a mistake as a small business owner, and what makes it worse is that I'm not 100% sure what went wrong. So here's what to do if that happens to you. If you don't know me, I'm River Kai. I'm an LGBTQ plus author and artist. I'm also disabled, so I love to write fictional romance books that have characters that can relate to those types of identities. Currently, I am publishing Shadow King Omega. That's my next upcoming steamy werewolf book, and I've been documenting the entire process on YouTube. So welcome back to yet another week of Let's Make a Book Baby, where we're making this book baby. It's being born soon. This is the baby shower. And this is where one of my mistakes lie. So I'm currently running a Kickstarter. As of the day I am posting this video, there are only 6 days left to fund it on Kickstarter, and it has not reached 100% funding. I realized very quickly, like, oh no, I think I'm doing something wrong. So I thought that we could unpack it together and my thought process, because that's why I haven't had a chance to post a video last week. I was really trying to figure this out, kind of in crisis mode, because I'm also trying to finish the book itself, editing the last bit of it. So here's the rundown. On Kickstarter, campaigns are all or nothing, and Shadow King Omega has been stuck around 44-45% funding for quite some time. It's normal for crowdfunding campaigns to have like a plateau period where things kind of just flatten out. You're not getting as much interaction in the middle because people really prioritize the urgency of, oh, it just launched, I want to be like the first to get there, and the early bird where you get a discount and all that stuff. And then they want to be the last ones to help it fund it. And there's that urgency of like, oh God, this isn't going to exist if we don't make this happen. Or if it's already 100% funded, like they want to make sure to get the extra perks and exclusivity that comes with some of the tiers that you would put into a Kickstarter campaign. I did tons of market research for this. I looked at all different campaigns, especially fictional romance campaigns, because this is a romance book. I looked at a lot of like romantasy and steamy ones because it's also a steamy book. Those details do make a big difference. In my research, I made sure to make a campaign that had a solid story section to it, laid out what the book was about, what the project was that I wanted, like why I wanted to do a Kickstarter, what it was funding if people backed it, and what's in it for them. Like they're going to get early access, they're going to get their name in the acknowledgements, they're going to also potentially get a special edition hardcover if that's what they select. I tried to hype it up because everything that I was seeing that was being funded successfully and with higher numbers were all having to do with the special edition. But where I think this started to go wrong is a couple of things. So I got really sick. I overworked myself and I was not able to have a pre-launch page where people can save the project to be notified when it goes live. I had it, but it was only for like 10 days. And people probably are usually gathering followers for this for like 2 months or something. Social media is finicky, and if I'm not constantly shouting about it, then people might not see it at all. Like even people who follow me, because only like 1 to 10% of my followers are ever going to see my posts. I was realizing that that was a problem, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do like a big marketing push even though I'm really exhausted. I'm going to try to increase the amount that I am posting, see if that helps. And it did help, but I still didn't reach 100% funding. So on the outside, everyone's like, wow, like we're doing it and it looks pretty exciting. But then on my end, it doesn't feel the same way. And that's what I think that like if someone else is an author watching this, or a writer, or you're having some type of artistic project that you're trying to do, something that like is usually fun seeming on the outside, then it's harder to know that like the behind the scenes sometimes can be pretty stressful unless you're in it, and it can feel very isolating and like, oh, I'm doing everything wrong and terribly, and I definitely fell into that trap. So I want to make this video in case anyone else feels that way. But every single business makes mistakes because all humans make mistakes. It's part of the way that we learn, and you can't sometimes know the mistake that you're about to make unless you have the knowledge and experience to know, like, hey, don't do that within reason, right? Like, you don't want to be posting or sharing things that are harming other people actively. The important part about mistakes is that you're supposed to learn from them, and when you're serving a customer base or a reader base or a client base, you are also having to usually like apologize, or like if it's that type of mistake, or make it up to them somehow if it feels like, oh, I didn't deliver. With a big company, you'd have lots of people to put their heads together who have different specialties in marketing and public relations and all this stuff. They would be able to like figure that out. But as a small business owner, you have to figure all that out alone while making the product, while sending the product, while manufacturing the product. It's a lot. So now that I've explained what the problem was to you, here is how I then went to try to remedy what I believe this mistake was and why I thought it was a mistake in the first place. One giant difference that I did between all of my market research was that I decided as a business that I wanted to be honest with my readers, who are the customer base in this scenario, that in order to print a special edition of this book, I would have to fund a certain amount because I cannot shell out multiple thousands of dollars for a special edition right now. I contacted a manufacturer, and the most cost-effective way to create special editions right now are by going directly to Chinese manufacturers because they have all the equipment. And certain manufacturers in the US or Canada or UK, they do not have all of the equipment that people are expecting now in the level of special edition, like fanciness that you would need. And publishers, like traditional publishers, would also go to these same exact manufacturers, and one in particular that I reached out to. I got multiple quotes from them, and none of them were below $3,000. So already there's that. So I'm budgeting everything like, okay, if that's the lowest, that would also mean that I'd be cutting out like a dust jacket to go around the hardcover, and people are probably expecting that, so I can't do that. So then the absolute lowest is $3,500, and there's all these like shipping costs, and then when it comes to me, I have to then ship the books back out, and I don't want readers to have to back my book on Kickstarter expecting like, wow, okay, I'm paying this amount. Now after it's over, I'm gonna have to pay an extra $10 for shipping. Like, I want them to do that in advance so that they know exactly how much that they are being charged for it, and not after the campaign is over being kind of irritated that now they also have to pay shipping. But that means that there is a shipping cost built into the campaign total. So if you're raising $3,500 for your book, that is not including the shipping cost. So you're already going to have to add to that. Then Kickstarter and the processing fees for payment is going to take another 10% of whatever you make. So you have to add 10% of anything that you make on top of it. So I budgeted this all out, the absolute minimum that it would cost, with like all the merch that I also have to make. And some people just want the regular edition, so I also have to print the regular editions and send those out. It's not just that base production cost of the actual book that's being manufactured, like the special edition. There's like all these other things. So I wanted to be honest and be like, this is the budget, and not paying myself, which I was really disappointed by. But I was like, you know what? I don't know if it's going to succeed if I put it at $16,000, which would be paying myself for the work that did this book, like absolute minimum wage, bare minimum wage, which is not actually fair to pay myself with. I was like, okay, I don't know if we're there yet as a community. Let me do $7,500, and that gives me basically like $500 buffer in case I am charged extra for shipping fees, or to pay my editor, stuff like that. A very small extra buffer in there. I'm still going to have to pay for some of it myself. I thought, okay, we could probably manage that. I was seeing campaigns that were funding like $20,000, $50,000, all this stuff. So about 4 days before the campaign launches, I realized, oh, I think people are using companies like PR companies for their Kickstarter campaigns. I didn't know how common it was. I thought that it was like maybe like a small press type of thing that they were doing, but I like didn't look down at this one little section on Kickstarter that was like, oh, we're now having a fulfillment marketplace. So there's all these like companies that are offering fulfillment, but that's also like marketing and stuff, and they take like a percentage cut of your campaign too. And all of those campaigns, they're putting their totals at $500 or $1,000. That's when I realized, like, oh, that's why they're doing that, because they have all this backing behind it and they're funneling so much money into it that they're probably only making like a couple $1,000s at the end of it from that $20,000 campaign that they're doing. And so I was like, oh, and I'm doing this all by myself, and I made my total higher because I was trying to be honest. Um, and do I think that I should have been dishonest? No. So this is my next question. How is my project being presented? Where is it confusing my audience? I found a couple things that I could tweak, like the thumbnail. Kickstarter had a rule, which I realized that I was trying to not piss off Kickstarter because they were already like doing weird stuff about Steamy books. They had like some weird rules that they came out with, even though everyone publishes adult content on that book. Like they'll publish like NSFW artwork and stuff like that. So I was not anticipating that. That came out right before, like there was a controversy right before my campaign pairing it, and I was like, oh god, do I need to just switch to BackerKit? But it seemed okay. Like, seemed like people were still having success with those types of books. So I was like, let's keep going. I already did all this work for it. There's that people might not be on the site right now. I fixed my thumbnail to have text on it because Kickstarter was like, oh, don't put text on the thumbnail. It might not get featured in our newsletter. But everyone else, I realized, had text. So I was like, oh, I shouldn't have listened to like that one rule. And I did the market research, but I didn't think about that part. So it's an oversight. Just like little details that like consumers are expecting when they're looking at something in like a big crowd of other campaigns and not seeing mine because of this silly little difference that I didn't put LGBTQ werewolf book on the front. So that was an easy fix, thankfully, and it did help a little bit, but I did feel like since it had been so slow rolling by that point, the damage was already done. So then I'm like, okay, I can't change the campaign total, and it kind of still feels against my values to basically be like, oh yeah, I only need $1,000 to fund this. Like, because what happens if we only raise $3,000 and I still need to manufacture this? Then I'm out $4,000 worth out of my own pocket. Can't do that. I cannot do that. So I was like, okay, I can't implement this. What can I do now? How can I solve this problem that I already made for myself as a small business owner when it's just me? I'm burnt out. I am a little bit lost still as exactly what I did wrong. Well, that's where it is time to pivot. So what would I want as a customer is what I started asking myself. And I was like, well, if I was a reader and I'm hyping this up, like I'm looking at this, trying to see where readers who believed in this project saw that I was successful. Because that's something that I wasn't looking at. I was looking at all the things I did wrong. I was like, okay, I do think that the campaign looks nice. I do think that I presented it fine enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. I added some extra little like easier things for people to just like quickly see when they open the campaign, the tropes at the beginning. It was like a little bit, you had to scroll a little bit down, but then now I put it at the very top, first thing you see. So I think that helped. I think the artwork looks nice, like people seem to like it. People who have had a chance to hear about the campaign have been excited about it and genuinely trying really hard to believe in it. So I'm creating some type of excitement there successfully. So I want to, whatever I use to pivot, move towards that to honor that excitement and their believing in me and my project, because we did, before the campaign has ended yet, we have already raised $3,500 and then some. So that's a big deal for an indie author who, like, I have not done a Kickstarter in a long time, and I've never done it for just a regular novel. I only did it for a comic book, which has a slightly different demographic. And so I was like, I think these people are very excited for this special edition, and what happens if it fails? And I sat with that for about a week last week and was like, this might fail. And I have to just take that in stride because sometimes things do fail in businesses. You make mistakes, even if they're not very big, or maybe you didn't even make a mistake. Maybe you didn't have a way to know that like this was a bad time, like because of world events that suddenly happen, which keeps happening to me. Or like, but I mean, honestly, when are they not happening right now? It's like a nightmare. And so, like, maybe everyone's on vacation this week, and next week they're going to be back and see my campaign, and I'm just reacting too soon and thinking, like, oh, it's over, and it's not over yet. Stuff like that. So, there's some things that are out of my control, but what if that does happen? Because I still have to keep going. I would like to let myself go through the process of that by myself, not put that on to my readers, and then pull myself back up and come up with a solution for them now, because I've gotten myself past that. I've accepted that this is one possibility of what may happen. It still may succeed, but that is a possibility that it could fail. It's always been a possibility. I feel like I have processed that now, and it has relaxed me in a way to be like, yes, that is possible, because I realize it's not the end of the world. I still want to publish this book, regular edition, and I have done that with money out of my own pocket. I have a part-time job to help me with that right now, and my parents, because I'm disabled, are helping me with living. Like, I live with them. We all work around the house together. I try to feed them and help to clean and all that stuff, but still, that is a privilege that they're giving me to help me get through, and I'm super grateful for that. So I'm going to be okay. And that's the most important thing. So with that in mind, I would love, like, best case scenario would be for this to work out. But second best case scenario is that I find a way somehow to still do this special edition. Like, maybe I can try to get enough pre-orders for a special edition and do it in the future. Like, as soon as we get enough pre-orders, then I will order it from the manufacturer, because I already put a small deposit down. It's only like $150, so I'm not put out by it. Like, I feel okay that like, I want to publish cool things, so I'm going to use this manufacturer, and they have my slot reserved for when I'm ready. That made me feel like, okay, if this does happen, that could be our plan. So what do you think the plan should be? Does that sound like a good solution to you? Let me know, because I'm still working on it, but I wanted to let you in on some of the insights of like the thought processes that go behind this, especially if you run into a situation where you feel like, oh God, I failed at something as a business owner. And like, honestly, it's probably not as black and white as it feels in that moment. So like, take a breath and just take a step back. Don't rush to tell everyone like, oh God, it's bad. Like, let yourself breathe for a second. Come back when you're like, okay, I would ideally want to say, look how much we did achieve together. I am so honored by your excitement for this, like raising $3,500. People raised like $1,000 within the first hour, and that's what was frustrating, because I was like, I am not lying about this, but everyone else's campaigns who are like fully funded in an hour, if I lied and said that it was, I only needed $1,000, I would have also had a campaign funded in the first hour, and now it looks kind of daunting and like, oh, what's wrong with this project for being the only one that's not funded almost. And so I'm like, oh my God, like you can't explain that to anyone unless they're looking at it as closely as I am and doing the market research part. I don't know with that, like, if maybe this isn't the site for me. Possibly, like, maybe I'm not doing anything necessarily wrong, but this is not the way that my particular business with my morals should go about it. And I'm not saying that anyone's immoral for doing that. Like, I think that all these people who are doing that, by having 100% funding in their project right away, it makes a lot more people jump on, and they most likely are going to have enough money to print it, and maybe they have savings. I don't know, but maybe they're rich. I don't know. But like, I just personally felt like for me that I did not want to take that risk, because right now, look, like, if it doesn't go through, like funding doesn't go through, worst that can happen is that it's all canceled. No one is expecting their order. I get paid $0. I just marketed my book a little bit extra. So that's not horrible. It is sad still, disappointing. I have all these cool like art pieces that I illustrated because I'm also an artist. I started out as a comic artist, and they might not be used. Like, that sucks, but it's not terrible. What would be terrible to me as a business is only funding $3,000 when I need $7,000 to deliver what I promised. That's not acceptable in my opinion. So I did not want to take that risk. That was feeling like an extreme not okay risk for me as a person, and I did the best with what I had to work with this and what I was figuring out, and I'm still learning. So yeah, very gray area. What would you do in this situation? I'm curious to know your thoughts. I know that people had previously been like, River, like you should definitely put the goal up to $16,000, even if it sounds daunting. And I don't know what it would have looked like if I did that. Like, maybe I should have done that so that that would be our goal, or maybe I should have put it at 3,000. I don't know. Like, there's so many like what ifs that we just don't know the answer to, and that's okay. So I'm learning, and it is going to benefit my business just to learn from this experience. So you know what? Who's to say this was all around a bad thing? It's more complex than that. If you feel like you made a mistake and you're having to try to figure out and pivot, that's normal, I would say. Like, it's part of business and part of being a creative when you want it to be your career and you want to be an independent artist, to authentically share your work, not have anyone like water any of the messages down and stuff like that. Like, it's more important to stick to what you believe in and treat the people who support you with respect. As long as you're doing that to the best of your ability, that's amazing. You can figure out the rest and get creative with that too, and like finding the solutions. Because I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? And like, oh wait, I could just find another way to do this, or let it be. Like, maybe we just have a regular book launch. I don't know. So I hope that this helped you learn at all and was interesting for you. And yeah, this is not over yet. The Kickstarter is not over yet. There's still 6 days. I'm gonna quickly edit this video after I have filmed it. So if you still want to support this project on Kickstarter, it is running for 6 days. All of my books have black and white illustrations in it. So here are some that I was working live on stream this past couple weeks. Thank you for watching. I hope that you have a good rest of your day. I'm going to keep doing this series, but I'm going to try to post a bunch of extra videos this week. So keep an eye out this week. I'm going to have one on sensitivity readers and beta readers, how to set up your book with ISBNs, how to set it up for pre-order. So I want to just do like a fun burst of videos for you on YouTube here to thank you for being here throughout creating this project. We also have to plan a day where we watch all these videos in succession live on Twitch. So if you want to follow me on Twitch, I'm still streaming 3 to 4 times a week on twitch.tv/RiverKai. Okay, have a good rest of your day, and I will see you very soon for the next video. Goodbye!